What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Triple Threat Talk. I am your host, Connor Ryan, and we have Jonah Newberger back for another episode. What is it? I think this is episode 30 now, officially, of Triple Threat Talk, but episode 3 in the new era of Triple Threat Talk. I mean, what a week. What a week in terms of sports.
What a week.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals was Thursday night, and I made the right decision of, oh my God, the Pacers are down. I'm not going to turn off the TV like I did for game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals when I needed to go to bed. I stayed up, I prevailed, and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a shot.
What an ending. Dude, I mean, let's just say, Halliburton, come on.
I've been hearing a lot of people having issues, not so much issues, but the discourse of him being a superstar. And a lot of people bring up the issue of him not really being a pass first guy.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson's a superstar. I think that's I'm nowhere near saying Tyrese Halliburton is Magic Johnson. I'm not saying that.
No.
But
he's a pass first guard though.
Exactly. Who we've seen what a pass first superstar can look like.
Mm-hmm.
And it can happen. And I know, obviously, he still has time to develop the scoring, but,
he can score when he needs to. Yes, exactly. Game 1, he did not have the best scoring game, but, I mean, he had, I think, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. He was still doing a lot for the team.
I think a big reason for that, though, was just, you've been having this defensive scheme against you.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks doesn't have, an elite defense. They have some very good defenders. The Cavs have a very solid defense. And then the Knicks are the Knicks. They don't have a true defense because 90% of the pick and roll would just result in Cat going into drop coverage. And now it's we have guys just straight switching, and it's great, we're playing the Celtics again, but except instead of having 2 or 3 guys who are going to just oversize you, instead they have 4 or 5 guys who are just going to run around you and take everything.
Yeah. I saw a funny thing, I think it was on Twitter, that said that Damian Lillard called SGA to help him figure out how to guard Halliburton.
Yeah.
Which I thought was just kind of funny, but...
yeah. I think in terms of the game breakdown, it's I really don't know how the Pacers stayed in it. There wasn't really ever a time where, I'd say there was the midway in the third quarter part where J-Dub kind of got that breakaway dunk to force the timeout from Carlisle, and the Thunder had a 15-point lead with 6 minutes remaining.
It looked like it was over for sure.
Exactly. And especially when you see the first half and you're just you're looking at the box score and you're 19-4 in turnovers.
Yeah. It was. They did not have a good first half.
No. And it very much looked like NBA Finals jitters, but it also
Game 1.
The second half just completely flipped. It was the Pacers in the first half. It was OKC was doing everything that they needed to do. They were playing the defense that they needed to. They were getting the shots that they wanted. The only issue was it was just not becoming the shots just weren't going down.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't working out in their manner in that direction. But everything else, the spacing, the point of attack, the matchups that they wanted, all of them were there. And then the defense was just taking everything. I think a benefit, though, for the Pacers was a lot of their turnovers just resulted in being dead ball turnovers.
Yeah.
Where it was just out of bounds, bad pass, backcourt violation.
There was a handful of those backcourts.
Obi Toppin had a bad first 3 minutes in the finals.
I think it was funny because they, I think he had at least 2, maybe 3 of them, and they show the ball going to the backcourt, and then they pan the camera to Obi Toppin, and then 2 seconds later, next possession, same thing happened. Didn't we just watch this? It's just the same thing just kept happening over and over. They definitely had the, like you said, NBA Finals, game 1 jitters, but it definitely seemed like they settled in the second half.
That was the exact same thought I had, where it was just Obi Toppin's just a little nervous right now.
Yeah.
And it was the exact same situation of dribble drive in, realize you're getting doubled and throw an errant pass that Tyrese Halliburton can't reach, or it's in between 2 guys directing towards beyond half court.
Yeah.
So then it's just okay, that happens. And then you see it again, you're all right, so he's probably gonna get taken out, and then he ends up being like your second leading scorer in the game and one of your biggest reasons you make this comeback.
Mm-hmm.
So
And Neesmith. I mean, I kind of, it's a little tangent, but I hate that the Celtics got rid of him at that point because he's turned into such a really true 3-and-D player. Like he can score and he's just so ferocious on defense. He gets so many rebounds. I mean, I think in that last 2 minutes he had 2 clutch rebounds to give the Pacers a chance, tie or take the lead in the end. He got that last rebound with 10 seconds left, so he's definitely been I feel like a big key factor to their success as well.
yeah, I just think in terms of when he was on the Celtics, it was like right place, wrong time.
Mm-hmm,
if he was drafted a year later, then he would for sure be on the team. The only reason I think the only reason I don't really have as much of like a gripe with it is because if we don't trade him, we don't get Drew Holiday.
Yeah, it did. Like you said,
it did
that
propel.
Trade was in, 21?
It did lead to like the positivity of the future, but obviously it's like if that doesn't happen, then
but it's like he's just been played so. I mean, he's a solid 3-and-D. I mean, he had 12 rebounds last game, led the team in rebounds.
Yeah, 10 and 12 is pretty crazy, and I mean Tyrese also had 10 rebounds. Like
Tyrese.
Miles Turner had 9. I thought it was okay. I thought it was like,
but I had a quiet 20 and 10.
The craziest stat though is the rebounding totals, just difference. Like 56 to 39. We're talking about 3 guys for the Pacers who had double figures and not a single guy for the Thunder to get in double figures.
Yeah. And you were kind of talking about earlier just the shots falling too for OKC. That did not happen. Look at SGA 14 of 30. It's not great. 7 of those points. He had 38 points with, 7 of them free throws. Look at Williams, 6 of 19, or 5 of 10. They didn't have a great shooting. 39% to Indy's, 47. So it'll be a good game 2. I'm excited for game 2.
I agree. I will say there were moments where, especially in the first half, primarily, like SGA very much had like I think he was 12 of 26 going into the fourth.
It wasn't great.
And so it's like, that isn't great, but there were plays in the first half where he made, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like he had like I don't think really a lot of people give him the credit in terms of how much of truly how athletic he actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Like he really does have like a very good jumping ability, and he had like the kind of like the bring around scoop layup, like coming down the middle of the lane, finishing with his right hand, and I was like, whoa, that's a very good finish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it was nice to not see nearly as many free throw attempts, but it kind of was the same philosophy of like I saw like a Dallas Mavericks fan try and like I wouldn't say like he was tweeting out basically the idea that like the way that the Mavericks approach playing the Thunder is the same way that the Pacers are currently.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just let SGA try and score 50 and take everything else out of it. And it's the moment you do that, the moment you win. And I think that was the exact same philosophy for the Celtics last year in the finals, where it was like, Luka, go ahead, get tired. We don't care.
Yeah.
So I think there are times where it definitely looks like I get why SGA is taking this many shots, but I also
30
don't.
Is a lot of shots.
But I also don't get it for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
It's like if you start out of the game and you're shooting like 5 of 6, go ahead. Take like 9 shots in a quarter. I don't care.
Yeah.
If you're shooting 5 of 6 and finish a quarter 7 of 9 or like 8 of 9, okay. But it's when like I don't really have here. I can pull up a quarter by quarter breakdown in terms of like.
Yeah, I mean, even just looking at the stats, I mean, Chet was 2 for 9 on the game. It's not great.
Yeah.
For being 7'2", you have 6 points in the whole game. He had 6 and 6.
I think Mark Daigneault really showed himself as a truly one-dimensional coach. I think he has one of the best defensive philosophies in the game, and I think a lot of that has to do with the players he has at his tenure. It's like we're talking about you could truly could create an all defensive team, and it's just the Thunder lineup, and it's probably Jason Wallace, J-Dub, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, and Chet, or Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah.
But a coaching decision that he made, real quick, in terms of SGA shot attempts, 5 of 12 in the first quarter, 3 of 6 in the second, 4 of 8 in the third, 2 of 4 in the fourth. So very 50% efficiency throughout the entire game, except for the first quarter where he shot 5 of 12.
Yeah.
So not saying that him passing those shots off win them the game, but
yeah, I mean, he did take those shots at the very end, in the last 2 minutes and missed. He did miss that last pull-up jumper, to pretty much seal the game. But
there's a interesting stat I saw in terms of a undefeated record in for a time period, or no team has ever come back from a certain, I think it was teams were in 128.
Yeah.
When they were down 9 points or more with 3 minutes remaining left in the NBA Finals game. 50 plus years in the NBA Finals, and no team has ever done that, and the Pacers were the first team to do that.
They've done so many just insane comeback. I mean, the first round against the Bucks, comeback, win that game. Down, 7 against Cleveland?
The Cavs. Game
40 seconds left. Knicks, they were
Game
down
1,
20 with 3 minutes left, came back and won. Then we see this again. It's just they never give up, which is just, I like it. They play to the end. I saw a funny stat. They led for 0.3 seconds in that game.
I saw the percentage total. Do you know what that is in percentage?
Of leading?
Yeah, percentage of the game that they led.
Less than 1%.
99. The Thunder led for 99.75% of that game, and they
ridiculous.
Lost.
Yeah,
I think in terms of what was I gonna say? In terms of this finals, and in terms of just how this is being approached, I think I don't understand the Thunder lost that game themselves. That was very much the Pacers deserve the credit that they deserve, for sure. But it's also the Thunder lost it themselves at the end.
Yeah.
Mark Dagnall, what are you doing not putting in a big man? The Pacers wanted to go small. They wanted to have a lineup of Tyrese, Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, and Obi Toppin. They wanted to play fast.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, yeah, no, go ahead. I'll work with you. I'll work with you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And it's okay, so you take out Chet, you take out Isaiah Hartenstein. Your lineup is SGA, Caruso, Dort, Willie, J-Dub, and Cason Wallace. Where are you rebounding? Where are you getting a rebound? That's how Pascal Siakam got the rebound off the Nembhard miss. That's how Aaron Nesmith was able to get the ball at the very end.
Yeah.
That's how it ended up with not a big man. Not if you have Chet Holmgren on Tyrese Halliburton at that moment for that shot, I don't know if we're talking about the Pacers winning game 1. So it just felt like he very much was no, I'm going to fall into this trap of letting another coach determine my decision.
Yeah.
And it was just why would you do that? Cason Wallace was minus 13 on the court.
Yeah.
Isaiah Hartenstein, and sure, Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein, not saying that they're good shooters, not saying that they are, or not saying that they're fast or anything, but both of them were positive in plus minus. Sure, Chet Holmgren shot 2 of 9 from the field, but he had 6 points and 6 boards.
Yeah, and Hartenstein had 9 boards.
Yeah, exactly.
9.
The two of them didn't even play more than 25 minutes. Everyone else who played 25 minutes or more had the same amount of rebounds as Chet or lower.
Yeah.
But I also understand from the Thunder perspective of I completely understand their standpoint of guys, it was everything went wrong in the second half.
Yeah.
Which I would actually somewhat disagree. I'd say everything went wrong for the fourth quarter. Primarily because the first half, majority of the third quarter, I would say, was in the Thunder favor. But it was just they just never had a consistent stretch of where it was, they had a run. They would have a run, and then it'd be timeout, timeout Rick Carlisle, and then Carlisle would come back and be like, "Yep, I fixed everything. We're good." And you're like, "Holy crap, he did. They're down only 7 now."
Yeah.
Did you have like a specific moment that you knew that this was going to be what it was?
When,
because I think I know what you're going to say, and I have the same thing.
I think we're probably on the same page. I was pretty tuned into the fourth quarter, and when they got it down to I think it was 4 points with, I think it was between 3 or 5 minutes left in the game, and it was a 4-point game. They're kind of coming back. I was like, oh yeah, it's happening again. They're gonna pull this one out in the end.
The moment Miles Turner banked in that 3.
Yeah, I think that's what cut it down to. Yeah, that was crazy.
That shot looked so off because it was
so bad. It was
right, the perfect angle.
Perfect angle on the wing. Bank was open.
Do you want to know what shot that reminded me?
He was not trying to bank that in.
No shot. Do you want to know what shot that reminded me of? Do you remember 2021, the first game of the season? Or it was still 2020, but the first game of the season for the
Tatum
Celtics that year? Yep.
Yeah, Tatum versus Bucks banked it.
Everyone thought that shot missed.
Yeah.
Because it's the exact same angle. It's the left side wing on the side of the camera. You can see the angle of the ball.
Yeah.
And it's drifting left, and you're just like,
it's banking.
And then and you're like, oh my God!
And you're like, yeah, that was crazy. And then when Nembhard had that ISO with SGA, he had the tween, hezzy, cross, step back 3. I'm like, a role player doing that with 2 minutes left in the game, cash the 3. I was like, that's insane.
That ain't no role player. That's Andrew Nembhard.
But he did that again on the one that Siakam cleaned up.
I know.
The same thing and airballed it, but
I'm aware.
It was just crazy. I was like, all right, these guys,
Well, I mean, also it's like we talked about it a little bit last week on last week's episode. It was like Andrew Nembhard was the difference in Game 6 for against the Knicks. Mm-hmm. Why? Because he started guarding Jalen Brunson, and now it's like, all right, we're gonna have the guy who's probably guarding this guy majority of the time whenever they're at camp together for FIBA.
Yeah,
both being Canadian, obviously.
Yeah.
But in terms of just value, everybody, and I'm so glad everybody is giving the praise that Andrew Nembhard deserves.
Yeah. Do you think this could, let's say the Pacers end up winning the series, do you think this could be a case 2015 Warriors where when Iguodala won MVP, could they give Nembhard finals MVP for guarding SGA for the whole series?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but it'd be kind of funny.
I think they learned from their mistake that one time. I get it.
I didn't agree with it. I just thought, I know
similarities
here with this series. I think it's got to go to one of 3 players, either SGA if the Thunder win, obviously, and then I think it's depending on the rest of the series between Siakam and Halliburton.
Okay, Andre Iguodala was the second leading scorer for that team.
Really?
So props to him, but it's people are acting as if he shut down LeBron. Do you want to hear LeBron James's stats for the 6 games?
What is it, like 30, 10, and 10 probably?
9, 1.5 steals and a half block.
Yeah, you're not.
Do you want to know who his second leading scorer was?
What was that? What year was that?
This is 2015, 2016.
Kevin Love with 18.
Or no, sorry, this is 2014, 2015. No, Kevin Love was hurt for majority of the series because he got hurt, I think, in the beginning of the playoffs. Kyrie got hurt in game 1.
J.R. Smith with 14.
Timofey Mozgov with 14. Denver Nuggets legend. J.R. Smith was, I know. J.R. Smith was 3rd with 11.5. Tristan Thompson with 10.
Where was Iman Shumpert?
6.5.
So he did nothing. Is this when Richard Jefferson was still playing?
Yeah, but he wasn't on this team yet.
He must have been. He barely played.
Let me look. I don't know because
Kendrick Perkins.
Joe Harris was on this team.
Joe Harris, really?
Yeah, but in terms of shout out David Lee, what a guy.
Barbosa, Sean Livingston, mid-range god.
Festus Ezeli, Maurice Bates.
I have a Mo Spates autograph on a Clippers hat. Random fact.
That's fire. Just the name, Tristan Thompson, Matthew Dellavedova, James Jones, Mike Miller.
I forgot about Mike Miller.
But I get it. Iggy had a great series,
but Curry deserved it.
and but yeah, Curry went 26, 5, 6, and 2.
What was his 3-point percentage?
39%.
Yeah, so, okay. That was his MVP season too.
Yeah, it was his first MVP season. It's like, how are you going to do that to the guy?
Yeah. So, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do here, especially with how we saw the Eastern Conference Finals play out when they gave it to Siakam over Halliburton. Yes, we mentioned this last week. Siakam did have a great series, but it'll be interesting to see. Halliburton didn't really have a good game until the fourth quarter. He only had 14 points. Siakam, like I said, had a quiet 20 and 10. If they go purely off of that, similar to how they did in the conference finals, you could see Siakam winning it. And, I don't know. I feel like it will be between him and Halliburton.
But I also feel like there are certain, I wouldn't say issues, but like Jason Tatum should have won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP last year.
I have a stat for you real quick, since we're on this topic.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to read you two stat lines real quick, and you tell me which stat line you think is better. Okay. So, stat line number 1. Player 1 had average 31 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists on 46% from the field. And player 2 had 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists on 46% from the field.
Wait, what was the first shooting percentage?
They're both 46% shooting percentage. Player 1 had 31 points versus player B's 30 points. Player A had 5 rebounds to player B's 10, and the assist was 8 assists to player 1 to 6 to player 2.
So basically similar scoring. Player B get better rebounding. You get a little
similar assists and same shooting percentage.
God, I really wonder who these two players are. I'm gonna go player B.
Yeah, player B was Jason Tatum.
No way.
That was his Eastern Conference Finals stat line when he did not win.
Oh, he didn't win Eastern Conference Finals MVP?
No, and player A, who was a little bit not as good as player B, was SGA this season in the conference finals. They gave him MVP.
Oh, then he didn't. He must have not won Western Conference Finals MVP, did he?
No, he did. He did.
No way.
Yeah, so just a funny little stat there for you.
I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
Huh, who would have thought? The media hates Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Did you see what he tweeted out, by the way?
I did. He said 25 days into recovery. It's getting a little easier.
Getting a little easier.
Maybe he'll be ready for October. You never know.
All right, let's not get... Okay. No.
I hope.
I saw somebody posting, and it was like somebody trying to be a doctor, and basically was like, not actually a doctor, but somebody trying to basically be like
pretending the TikTok doctors that would think they know everything. Yeah,
they're like, no, my cousin came back from an ACL in like 6 months. He'll be fine. Yeah. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, okay, bud.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm really excited for game 2. I'm really excited.
Really good. I hate how there's so much time off in between now. I feel like it's...
Yeah, but also it's like we're going to be getting the best competition. So
I get it. It's just like...
But it's also...
I just want to watch basketball every night. And
it's also just all marketing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get as much as they can out of it.
If we've already had 2 hockey games since, in between.
We'll have 3, or we'll have 4 before we have game 3.
Yeah, do they play again tomorrow?
So yeah, so ready? They play tomorrow.
So we're gonna have 3 games before game 2, and then
they play Wednesday, Monday, which is game 2, I think, for the NHL, or game 4 for the NHL.
They play on the same night?
Never mind. Sorry. They just played last night. Monday is their next day.
So they get 2 days off. Okay.
And then then they're doing another 2-day off thing.
Did you catch any of the game last night for any of the Cup? Wow.
I did. I didn't stay up and watch the end, but
see, I didn't watch the first or second period, and I watched half the third, all of the first overtime, and all of the second overtime.
So it worked out. I watched like the first 2.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
I didn't watch most of it. I turned it on. I watched the last couple minutes of the first period. It was already 3-2. I was like, oh my god, this is a high scoring game. Yeah. Then I turned it off and then come back, and it was 4-3.
4-3
to Florida, and I was like, okay, let's see what happens. I think I caught like the last 4 minutes of the third period, and Oilers tied it up with 20 seconds left, of course, just like they did in game 1. And but when they tied it at 4, I thought they were going to win the game. They had the momentum. First overtime, obviously, I've never played hockey, so I don't know, but I bet playing 2 whole extra periods for overtime, that's got to tire you out. Those guys can be dead for game 3. They damn near played a whole nother game. It's crazy.
I always find it interesting with because I never played hockey. I also never learned how to skate, and that's on me. But I always found it interesting in terms of the shifts and everything, and the different lines, and
they do it very quick.
It's incredibly quick. You're talking about you're usually seconds. You're out there 30, 40 seconds and everything, and it's a quick shuffle.
Yeah.
And so, in terms of conditioning, that is easily one of the hardest ones. Arguably the hardest.
Yeah.
I would say it's definitely harder than football. It's way harder than baseball. Basketball, I'd say, is the only comparison.
Maybe soccer, but because that's just feel constant running.
Yeah, and just larger space. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd say lacrosse is maybe a good comparison to
quick
hockey.
Spurts, for sure, it's got to be hockey. And you're 100%. Getting hit, it's yeah.
I don't think there's a sport that gasses you out quicker than hockey.
What about rugby?
I don't know if there's a sport that gasses you out quicker than rugby or hockey. Yeah. I have a cousin who played rugby back in the day.
Yeah.
He has broken his back multiple times.
That sport is tough.
Yeah. It looks sick though.
It does. We should get into rugby.
No.
You don't want to watch rugby?
Watch it? I'm down.
Yeah. We can start watching.
I thought you were dude, let's play it. I was bro. My NARP days are awesome. My non-athletic regular person days, I'm quite enjoying. But yeah.
Shall we? OT, Florida won.
I know.
Going back to Florida I feel like this series probably goes 7 games. As much as I don't want it to, I feel like it will go the full 7.
If it doesn't, though, no, I need it to go 7.
I just want Edmonton to win. I think McDavid needs the cup.
Everybody is pushing for Edmonton to win, except for West Coast, and Florida fans.
Yeah.
And Panthers fans.
I feel like all the Canadian fans and Canadian teams probably want a Canadian team to win it all. They haven't won it in forever.
Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't be shocked, though, if it's Vancouver doesn't want them to win.
Yeah.
Montreal, I'd be completely different side of the country. Makes sense if they're we'll root for you guys.
Beat Toronto earlier. I think they did. Dude, Florida's had some insane comebacks in their series.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're even in it for the 3rd straight year is very impressive. But
I know.
Game 3 down in Florida.
Gonna be good. Do you want to do my take, or do you want to do...
let's hear your take of the week.
Okay. So as we know, Rick Carlisle is coaching in the NBA Finals once again for the first time since 2011-2012. Or 2010-2011, sorry. We all know what happened then. NBA champions with the Dallas Mavericks. I was thinking about it, and I would say in the 21st century, if the Pacers win the NBA championship this year, I think Rick Carlisle becomes a top 5 coach of the 21st and a fringe, arguably, top 5, definitely top 10 guy, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because sure, when you can look at his totals, and you can go season by season, and you can say he hasn't had a truly the last time he had a really successful playoff run was that Mavericks team, and then it's you can look and see, doesn't have a lot of 50-win seasons. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 8 of them in his 21 years or so of coaching. 23 by the looks of it. Yeah. So less than half of them are 50-win coaching seasons, but he's approaching top 10 all time in terms of all-time wins. He won Coach of the Year in his first year of coaching with Detroit. And if you go down and you're just Rick Carlisle won 2 championships with the Mavericks and the Pacers, both of which would be the only time in franchise history, both of which with a primary 1 superstar and the second player being a support player, either scoring or just a primary function guy, and then just a bunch of really talented role players around you. That was exactly what it was in 2010, 2011. And if you then say, hey, let's look at the the path that was taken to beat them, it's like, okay, you beat the San Antonio Spurs pretty handedly. You sweep the Lakers. You then beat the Thunder in 5, and then you go into Miami and win in 6. Or I can't remember if they won in Miami or whatever. But you go 16-5 and you win the NBA championship. Or sorry, you go 4-2 against Portland. You sweep the Lakers 4-1 against the Thunder, 4-2 against the Heat. And then you go 4-1 against the Bucks, 4-1 against the number 1 seed 64 win Cavs, and 4-1 against or 4-2 against the Knicks. If you beat the Thunder, who statistically are going to go down as one of the greatest teams of all time, that ultimately vaults you into one of the greatest coaches of all time conversation.
Yeah.
Not even just on having 2 NBA championships, because like Joe Mazzulla could have 2 NBA championships and be considered like a very all-time coach.
Funny enough, just a side tangent, he does have one of the highest playoff winning percentages as any NBA coach in NBA history, but continue. Yeah, no, for sure. It was like minimum something games, then he was like ranked number 1, but anyway, continue.
And it was like probably just enough games.
Yeah.
But in terms of like if you go into a debate and you can say, hey, I made it to the finals twice and I won twice. And I did it against the Heatles and arguably the greatest defensive team for the last 15 years, I'd say. It's probably since the 07-08 Celtics. Statistically.
And the Thunder have just been so good this year. They've been the
That's
number
what I
1
mean.
team in the NBA all year. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
that'd be a huge accomplishment.
We're talking about like we're talking about anything like any coach would dream of. Like, hey, I was the coach for a team that was projected to lose multiple series, and we win a championship.
Yeah.
That is
I think they've been
Jersey
underdogs in every single series.
Exactly. He's from Indiana. He's an Indiana guy.
I think he retires.
I don't think he retires. I think he probably has a couple of years left.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it actually maybe. Honestly, like,
he's been coaching for a while.
He's been assistant coach since 1989.
Oh my god! So 30.
Yeah, that's
a good
that's
career.
A lot. That's a very long career.
Yeah.
Coach of the year winner, like. But, I mean, guess what his nickname is?
Oh, back to the nicknames. I had no idea.
Flipper.
I like that.
I don't know how, but Flipper.
That's a good one.
Averaged 2.2 points in his career. Bucket getter.
2.2.
Rick Carlisle. Played for the Celtics, so. Like, I just think in terms of, like, I just think Rick Carlisle is extremely disrespected. I think he deserves a lot more praise and recognition as the level of coach that he is.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about, like, sure, people can... never mind. That makes more sense. I was like, what? It said finished for the regular season, and it was like, and all I was seeing, like, was 1s through 5s, and I was like, oh my god, he's finished top 5 in rankings every year, and I was like, oh, that's per division.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's like, he's always had a consistency. Sorry about this. Breaking news from Shams Charania. Zach Edey, Memphis Grizzlies all-rookie center Zach Edey, re-sprained his left ankle in an off-season workout this week and will undergo surgery to re-stabilize this ankle. Edey will most likely miss the beginning of the 25-20.
Breaking news on the pod.
Breaking news on the pod. That's tough. But shout out Rick Carlisle. Deserves more praise, I think.
Yeah.
All right, Jonah, what takes you got? What questions we got?
I was doing some random sports research and just had some fun deep dives on the web, but got a little fun game for you here. I'm going to give you a player's stat line from last season, the 2024-25 season, and I want you to try and guess who the player is. I have 3 different stat lines.
All NBA.
No, yeah, like it could be any league.
I didn't mean to say like an all NBA player. I meant to say just all NBA, like NBA stat lines.
Yeah. These are all NBA stat lines from players from this season. I have 3 of them, and I'm just curious if I feel like some of them will surprise you a little bit. And we can always get on a little talk about that player. All right, player 1. This player played 70 games. They averaged 26 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists on 47% shooting.
26 points. How many?
6 rebounds, 9 assists. 26, 6, and 9. This player played 70 games, so played most of the season. 47% from the field, from the floor.
Okay, let me eliminate some names. Let me clarify something real quick. 26, 6, and 9. 26.6 rebounds and 9 assists.
Correct.
Okay, so no Jokic. It's not SGA. It's not Tatum. Because Tatum was higher rebounds than assists.
Yeah.
And he got 6 assists for the first. I think I know who the answer is, but I'm going to draw it out a little bit.
Okay.
Not Mitchell. He isn't passing as much as that.
I'm also happy to give you the ranking and where each stat, like where they sat in the NBA with their stat, if you want, but I don't have to.
I don't think I'll need it for this one, at least.
Okay. I'll tell you afterwards.
The Cade Cunningham?
It is Cade Cunningham.
I love Cade.
What an underrated season. He was 6th in points, 6th in rebounds, and 4th in assists. Nobody talked about him.
This is where I come in and say, like, this is like the voucher that I have for MVP and Coach of the Year for JB Bickerstaff, where I understand Kenny Atkinson winning it. Completely understandable. Very deserving of it. But second place being JB Bickerstaff is the correct answer. Absolutely. But MVP, Cade should have gotten way more recognition for MVP. Being that guy for Detroit is like
won a playoff series, or did they?
No, but bring the Knicks to 6.
Yeah, that was a good series, and that
was a really good series.
And there were some games that the refs could have called the other way at the very end. There were some controversial calls in that series. Detroit could have easily won that series.
Yeah, because
Cade.
It was the no foul call. In game 3 or 4.
Yeah, and then I think in one of them, there should have been a second and a half on the clock, and they gave him 0.3. They didn't review the clock on one, which was stupid. So
yeah,
Pistons definitely got screwed in a couple of those games. But I mean, what a season Cade had, and no one was talking about it.
Love him. One of my very good friends is from the Michigan area, and he's a Pistons fan. I love the Pistons team makeup. Cade is an awesome one guy.
Yeah,
Malik Beasley was awesome this year. Tobias Harris really showed hey,
brought him back.
I am a pretty good player and everything.
Full circle for him.
Very full circle.
Look at that. Look at
Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren, 2 really scrappy, good big men. And then having Asar Thompson and Marcus Sasser as a forward and guard nightmare matchup guy. That's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the Pistons will be good for the next couple of years for sure. I think they're on the come up. Speaking of teams kind of on the come up though, the Orlando Magic. Did you see the Orlando Magic new logo? Dude, I think it's awful. I absolutely hate it. What are they doing changing it?
I like 2 of the 3 jerseys.
I think the jerseys are okay, but dude, that logo was just so good. They're trying to make everything all modernized. It's half the NBA now just has the little circle logo with the team. It looks They look like they copied the Toronto Raptors logo. I don't like it. I understand they're going to do it. They want to sell different jerseys and different merch and all of that, but I think it's a terrible logo.
I think in terms of I agree, wholeheartedly agree. I don't like the whole minimalism thing that is becoming and everything like that.
It's so bad.
I saw somebody trying to use the circle thing as an argument and being these teams are now circles. It's and they threw the Celtics one in there.
I have that.
And I replied and I went. I wanted to reply and be
stupid because they have been
and be no, we've always had
long.
that.
Yeah, they have. But all the other teams changed them. Now the Magic, Toronto had a sick one before they changed it. The Clippers, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Nuggets changed theirs. Wolves, Pacers, Hawks, Sixers, Washington, Detroit, Brooklyn. Golden State did kind of change it, but I would probably take them out as well. I don't know. I don't like it personally.
I just think in terms of you can't gripe the Celtics for the circle one because they actually have a cool circle. They have stuff going on.
They have
the
Boston
Celtics. They have Lucky showing with a ball spinning on his finger and him actually being characteristic.
Yeah.
Instead of just a Hawks logo. Boom. Atlanta.
Basketball
Hawks.
in the middle.
That's a Hawk. Look, boom. What? No.
Yeah. Anyways, little side tangent, but I'm not a fan.
Detroit doesn't have a pick this year. So I was going to say if they had a pick this year, I was that's really going to help them.
Why don't they trade their...
I'm looking to see how they got it.
Yeah. I mean, but I feel like Detroit, they definitely are, they're a very young team. I feel like they'll definitely, I think they'll make the playoffs again next year. I think they can definitely make a couple playoff runs over the next couple of years. And we'll see what they turn out to be.
I don't even know what this means.
What does it say?
I think what happened
I'll chat GPT.
was, I think it was Houston got it, then Houston gave it to OKC, then OKC gave it to New York, and then New York in the Charlotte and Minnesota deal got it. And then Minnesota got it from New York.
Right?
At least I think. That's what it looks like.
Pistons had previously agreed to send their 2025 first-round pick to the Minnesota Timberwolves. It did include a top 13 protected clause if the pick landed in the top 13. Detroit would have kept it. However, the pick ended up being 18. Outside the protected range. As a result, the pick transferred to Minnesota, making it the 18th pick. But how did they... Interesting. So it's just been floating around the NBA for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want to know what's something I always forget? Walker Kessler was drafted by the Timberwolves, and then he was traded for Rudy Gobert. Like, imagine how much money they would have saved if they were like, let's keep this guy for like a year and let's see how he goes.
Yeah.
He's one of the best athletic, like, young shot blockers in the NBA. You can stay. I mean, they've just had, like, some legit, like, really good class. Like, same year, they draft Karl Anthony Towns and Tyus Jones to the same team.
Yeah.
Year before, Zach LaVine. But then you also look back and you're just like, these are just bad. Like, 2007, you get Corey Brewer, solid. 2008, you get Kevin Love, that's good. But 2009, you draft Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn over Steph Curry. You take Wesley Johnson.
Did they have back-to-back picks?
Yep. 5. They had 5 and 6.
Well, that
and they took 2 point guards.
That's so dumb.
So I know. It's just in terms of, like, I just feel like the Timberwolves are good. They're solid now. Not worried about them anymore.
Yeah.
But
are you ready for player B?
I am.
Player number 2. All right. This player played 82 games this year. Played the whole regular season.
Chris Paul.
Fuck.
Let's go. Let's go.
I shouldn't have given you that. All right. Do you want to try and guess his stat line though? Damn, I shouldn't have given you the games.
11, 7, and 3.
8, 3, and 7.
Okay, I'll take it.
Year, yeah.
Okay, so I got
Not
2 of the 3, right? I got 2 of the 3.
All right, this last... I'm not even going to give you the games. Cause...
No, hold on. No, I want to talk about Chris Paul for a little bit. I like talking about Chris Paul. What? You want to talk about Chris Paul?
We can.
What do you got against Chris Paul?
Nothing.
Good.
He didn't have a great year.
Well, yeah, I think that's
Do you think he... One, do you think he retires soon?
Yes.
Maybe even this offseason or maybe
No.
1 year? Or 2, do you think he ends up going to one more team before he retires? I feel like he's been around the NBA forever now.
Do you want to know who I've been seeing? Do you want to know who I've been seeing a lot of mock deals or mock, like, him being on the roster for?
The New York Knicks.
A lot of Laker fans are wanting
Could you
Chris
imagine?
Paul.
With LeBron? Dude, that team needs to get younger, not older.
That's what I'm saying. But, like, the thing is, the one thing that works out for them is it's a signing. It's not a trade.
Yeah.
And you would have him for a year. It wouldn't be anything crazy. It would be like a 10-year deal or a 1 year, $10 million deal, maybe at most. Not even.
If that, yeah, probably get like 5.
Probably like 6, 5, yeah. Like, I think Chris Paul knows, like, he knows his position and role on a basketball team now. It isn't like, this isn't Chris Paul from 10 or so years ago where it's like, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
If you don't, like, I'm the generator of this offense, I'm the engine. Get me the ball. Now it's like, dude, you got to, like, get to this spot, go here. This is what I'm seeing. He's more of a teacher now than he is, like,
for sure.
I know he has said multiple times that he doesn't want to, but I think he would still be one of the best coaches in the NBA.
Yeah.
Or at least an analyst. I think he should be like, I think once he retires,
kind of like what Tim Duncan is doing.
Yeah. Once he retires, I think Amazon Prime should say, "Hi Chris, here's a blank check. Whatever
Chris.
you want, it's going to be you, Blake Griffin, Dirk Nowitzki. Actually, never mind. Him and Blake, I think, had a falling out.
Put DeAndre
No, I
Jordan
think they're
once
good.
He retires.
I don't know. I can't remember if they're good or not.
JJ Redick gets fired anytime soon. Paul Pierce, bring that whole team back.
I don't think
Jamal Crawford.
Love Jamal. Jamal, run the damn route. Shout out Coach Saban. I don't think I don't think Paul would want to coach. And I don't think Reddick is going to get fired anytime soon, unfortunately.
No.
I want him back as an analyst.
Yeah, I liked him. He was
not
good.
Richard. No offense, Richard.
All right. Are you ready for play number 3?
Shout out Chris
I'm not
Paul
going to give you
for
the
82
games.
games.
I'm not. I shouldn't have said the game.
That was the only. That's the only 82 game guy I'm gonna get. That's the only 82 game guy.
If I would have just told you 8, 3, and 7, where would your brain have gone? Like, would Chris Paul have surprised you if I just said this guy was average 8, 3, and 7 off 42%?
No, because I watched plenty of Spurs games this year. And it was like there were times where I was like, Chris, what are you doing? Not so much in terms of like creating offense, but like shot creating. I'd be like, that's the shot we're going for, Chris. Like I knew I know he's very much well past his prime in terms of
8, 3, and 7. I saw that the other night. I was like, oh wow,
7 assists is nothing to scoff at.
But 8 points, I'm like, that just feels low. Like I was expecting at least to be double digits.
No, that's bad. All right, what's this? What's the last one?
I'm not going to tell you the games unless you need it. This player averaged 15, 2, and 2 off 46% shooting.
Do you have a 3-point shooting percentage, or?
I could pull that up for you real quick while you think.
Score first. Is his like secondary trait known as like being a good defender?
I wouldn't say he's terrible, but
not like not like noteworthy.
3-point percentage last year was 38%.
Okay. Solid.
38% from 3, averaged 15 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, off 46% in total.
It's just the tough part is the 2 and 2. Like, okay, so okay, I'll run through what I'm thinking. Are my lights about to burn out or something? Notice that they're flickering more and more. I won't be like I might just be dark for the last couple minutes.
You might be dark for the last 15 minutes of the podcast.
I'm gonna be dark. I'm gonna be dark till I find out what light bulbs these are. I don't know. Anyway, 15, 2 and 2. Okay, all right. So like, I'm thinking like a scaled down version of Jalen Green, where it's just like primary shot taker. Is this like a Malik Monk kind of type? Okay.
This is almost in a way not necessarily a trick question or whatever, but I think you'll be like, okay.
Is it Paul George?
But it's not Paul George.
That's where my mind went.
I could give you the amount of games if that'll help if you get stuck, but unless you want to.
Sure, I'll take it, but I don't know how much it will help.
23 games.
Okay. So somebody either was hurt for the entire season and then played the last like 20 games, or they played 23 games and were okay, and then they died. It's like, okay. It's like a DeJounte Murray type thing. Can I get like
this one?
Can I get a conference?
Eastern Conference. I'll give you the jersey number if you'd like.
That's disrespectful to me.
Give you the college. I might give it away.
Okay, let's pipe down.
Position.
Okay, let me run through team by team. It's not Melo. It's okay. Is it Trey Mann? Damn it! Shout out Trey Mann. One of the most underrated players in the league. All right, can I get that jersey number?
Numero 20. Would you like his draft selection and his
year? Yeah. Can I get his round and his number and his draft number?
In his draft class, he was round 1, pick 16.
I was jokingly gonna say, is it Aaron Neesmith?
That would have been funny if that was.
No, but I think he was 14. I think he was 14 to the Celtics. What a draft that year, by the way. Aaron Neesmith and Peyton Pritchard.
I know. Pritchard. See, between those two, I'm glad they kept Pritchard and not Neesmith.
I am too. No, I am too. It's just like, it's tough because it's like, all right, your minutes are behind Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, literally, that's what it was.
Eastern Conference, 15, 2 and 2. Not thinking anybody on the Nets. No one on the Sixers. Definitely not the Knicks.
Do you want me to give you a height weight?
Sure.
6'3", 195.
Oh, God, it's a guard? Are you 6'3", 195? 15, 2 and 2?
52, 2.
Only 2 assists? Get out of here.
This is gonna piss you off when I tell you who it is, and that's gonna bring me into another little quick segment. But
15, 2, 6 foot.
Where's the number 20? What's the 16th pick in his draft class?
Oh, it's Jared McKay.
There you go. Did you look it up?
I was like 15, 2 and 2. I was like,
yeah, and he
what? And I was like, so
hurt.
You have to be on a team. If you're a 16th pick, you kind of have responsibility. It's like you have to be on a team that has like some backing behind it. And that team definitely has some backing.
Yeah. Jared McCain. I mean, for a rookie, this is where I kind of want to say the future of the NBA. Dude, he only played 23 games, 15-2-2 out of 38% from three, 46 in general. He was playing. He was on.
He was gonna win Rookie of the Year
for sure. And I'm excited to see him play next year. I think he's a really good basketball player. I think he was one of the best players in the draft last year. Unfortunately, Philly got a good one. I was really upset that he went to Philly. I really like him as a player. I think he's going to be very good. I'm excited to kind of see, what his career turns out to be.
Yeah, I got two quick things on him. One, do you know? I'm sure you saw it. He's the NBA player correspondent.
Yeah,
that's sick.
Yeah, it's
like
awesome.
that.
No
that is
guy.
The only reason I want to be an NBA player. I want to be the correspondent guy where I'm like, I will go to the finals and report. I don't care. The other thing was the moment I knew that he was going to be good was when he had that 30-point game on 15 shots. It was something crazy.
Insane. He's good.
He's so good.
So
he's he's a legit defender too.
Yeah.
Shire got him ready.
Yeah. So he's gonna be good. I want the Celtics to trade for him.
If we can.
We're not going to, but could you imagine?
I don't think so. I just think it will be. I wouldn't be shocked if it's hey, our primary focus is going to be building around Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, and Ace Bailey. If Ace Bailey falls to him at 3, because here's the thing: if Dylan Harper falls to them, then I'd be kind of concerned, because then you're just you have basically 3 shooting guards who you're all trying to make either 1 or 2s, and that's just Dylan Harper. I know is I want to say 6'6" maybe. Yeah, 6'6". He could play kind of the 3, but I don't think you really want him to play the 3. You kind of want him at more of a 2. I mean, he's good. He's real good.
Yeah.
Shout out his dad. Shout out his brother. You know who his dad is? Ron Harper. Used to play for the Bulls.
Yeah.
Ron Harper Jr.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. What you thought I would hate on Jared McCain?
No, I don't think you'd hate on. I think you'd find it funny that I picked a rookie who got hurt. That's why it was.
I will say, rookie was not my first thought. I was going I was looking at a Fred VanVleet.
But that's why I was crazy. I was thinking the stats that he put up in little amount of games as a rookie is very
15, 2 and 2 is pretty legit.
As a rookie, that's
also here's the thing: he also probably would have been closer to 20 in reality if
he was playing a lot
with how much he was playing. And with how many injuries they had down the stretch, where it's Paul George wasn't playing, dude, it would have been him and Maxey just being
Lowry was in and out, balling.
It would have been him and Tyrese Maxey just all right, dude, we just got to try and combine for 70 tonight.
Yeah, literally, he would have been.
And it's if we don't, we're good. If we do, we win. All right, cool.
And now they have the number 3 pick in the draft this year, so.
Yeah, if they get Ace Bailey, I am kind of scared.
Philly might be dangerous.
If you go at a team with Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, Ace Bailey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid with Quentin Grimes on your bench. Shout out QG. That guy's going to... Wait, actually, hold on. That's a question I have. What is Quentin Grimes' contract right now?
Also, I have about 3 more takes before we wrap this up. We can make...
He's on his rookie deal?
Damn. So he's getting paid nothing.
Yeah, he's a restricted free agent with the Sixers this year, so he's going to have to probably re-sign with them for, dirt cheap, but then he's going to... Dude, if he balls out, he's going to make, 20 mil. Easy. Quentin Grimes just saved his career last year. So, all right, what are these takes you got?
This is a yes or no question. We have to dig.
Aaron Rodgers will go number 8, by the way, for the season.
We need to have another whole episode just on NFL talks, but
for sure,
we'll get into that another
I could care less about that.
Well, first off, just a little side tangent. What's the whole thing going on with the Patriots and Stephon Diggs, man? How do you think that's going to play out? I
think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it was just seemed a little bit more rocky than it actually is. Is it suspicious? Yeah, absolutely. Drugs.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I don't know. We'll see. All right, what do you got?
All right, quick question. Do you think Curry and LeBron team up before they both retire? Yes or no?
No. Just too expensive.
That's fair. Yeah.
I don't think...
Yeah.
I think if both of them had 3 years earlier for each of them, then I think so. If in
22 time, when LeBron was on the Lakers, first couple years.
Not even that. If the Warriors won in 2019 to win back-to-back-to-back, I think he would have been completely fine with like, all right, I'm good.
So even just
I don't think Curry would have done that, but
yeah,
I think he would have been like more willing
Yeah.
to be like, I'll do it.
yeah. I was speaking on that 2019 finals. I was thinking, do you think if KD never got hurt in that series, they would have won? I know they were down 3-1 when he got hurt, but I feel like he could have been a difference maker. So I think they ended up losing that series 4-2, but they won that game.
But if you win that, but they win that game, right? And if you go into game,
I think if they
6,
win that, is it 2-2 then? Was it game 4 or game 5 that he got hurt? But yeah, I'm just curious. Like, if they had a healthy team that year, like completely healthy, do you think they could have beat Toronto?
Game 5.
So they were down. So they won that to make it 3-2. So you're 3-2 going back to Golden State with a healthy team, a good Curry, a good KD. Could have argued that they could have won the series. I don't know. That's a conversation for another
Golden
time.
State won 106-105.
Yeah, so that's a conversation for another time, but it would have been interesting.
No, I legitimately think they do, because it was the same way that I was thinking about the Celtics winning in 2023. It's like you win game 5 because you're back at home. If you win game 6 on the road, and it's game 7, you don't know what's going to happen in game 7. So if you win game 5 on the road, which they did, and then you go back home to Golden State and you're healthy, you're going to win that shit probably.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, you got game 7, go out there and do something.
Yeah.
And then that would, but I think the only thing that would have done is if they won that, he would have been there. He would have just been there for the rest of his career. And then he'd be known as I think so.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, all right, I'm willing to sign a contract here. I won 3 chips. I'm not going to try and break this up.
Row. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, would have been interesting. But we'll never know. Kind of a funny little. Go ahead.
No, if the Thunder win the finals this year and SGA wins Finals MVP, is he the greatest Thunder of all time?
I would say yes, but I feel like he needs a couple more years with the Thunder. Like, yes, he will have brought a ring, and
I think he's just
MVP.
Yeah.
So
he's just the shoe-in. Yeah. It's just we just need to see more. We just need need the city. We just need more eyes on him. We just need.
I agree.
But with that said, there's no player I'm taking over Thunder in Thunder history than Kevin Durant in that 2013-2014 season. That is the greatest player I've ever seen in terms of that franchise. Best player ever for that franchise, best season ever, I think will be that.
Yeah.
But best career ever will be SGA. But Mr. Thunder, I think, is Russ.
Yeah.
I think it's like when I think of a Thunder player, I will think of Russ. And kind of like how I think of when I think of a Celtics player, I kind of think of Pierce. Because I think of him as Mr. Celtic. Whereas best player I think is Bird. Most accomplished is Russell, obviously. But obviously with the Celtics, you could like I don't have no issue at all with Bird over Russell or Russell over Bird. I do have an issue with people who say SGA KD. So, but that's just me. All right, what's your
another
take?
Funny stat? Well, just quick. That's how who do you think the best number 15 is in Nuggets history? It was between Melo and Jokic. I'm like, this is the easiest answer, and it has to be Jokic.
It has to.
Like people who argue it to be Anthony. Yes, he was good, but he didn't win anything. Yeah. Then he just got up and left. Jokic has been there, put in the work, won 3 MVPs, should have been 5, and brought them a ring, their first ever championship. And that's just
and if things get figured out in that front office, very much could bring another
back. Oh, easily.
Like 100%. I would not if the Nuggets make the right moves that they need to make. I would not be shocked if I'm penciling them in to be in June next year. Because that Serbian guy knows what he's doing.
He does. Last kind of fun take. I was looking at some NBA rosters over the last handful of years, and one of the biggest roster fumbles of all time. Can you guess the team I'm about to tell you? And I hope you're not looking it up.
I'm not, but I think I might have.
And I'm going to tell you some of the names or the players on this team.
Is it the Clipper or Bubble Thunder?
No.
Who?
2018 LA Lakers. Do you want me to run down the list on some of these players?
Okay, hold on. Let me get my names out there.
I'll run down the list.
Lonzo,
Lonzo's
Josh
on that
Hart,
team. Josh Hart's on that team.
Julius Randle,
Randall's on that team.
Ingram,
Ingram's on that team.
and that's kind of Alex Caruso.
Caruso's on that team.
Okay, then this is kind of where
right now is. But then, do you want me to tell you some of these other guys?
Go ahead. No, yeah,
real quick. KCP, solid 3 and D. Thomas Bryant, he's playing the NBA Finals right now. They had Jordan Clarkson, on the list. Kyle Kuzma, Brooke Lopez, Larry Nance Jr., Gary Payton II, Isaiah Thomas, but that was post, and then Zubac. Clippers just double god.
Nowhere near a Finals roster in my opinion, but a legit NBA roster.
All those players are right now.
Absolutely.
That's a good team. Yes, you could have packaged a couple of those players and today's for a star, but that's a solid team. Had they just let that ride out for 7-8 years. Kind of funny though.
To preface in terms of the conversation we had earlier in terms of Richard Jefferson and where he was at Dallas the year that Cleveland won Golden State won the first one. Here's what I will say. Shout out Rich, obviously, GOAT. But very unfortunate timing of multiple things. He was on the Spurs for the 11-12 team that lost to the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, and then got traded to Golden State, was there the 2 years before Steph won MVP. Then went to Utah, and then went to Dallas, and then that was kind of and then the next year he went to Cleveland for 2 years, and then he went to Denver. Half of the teams that he played with in his career, only 1 year. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Last little take here. Did you catch any of the UEFA Nations League playoff or semifinal?
I did not.
This past week?
No.
Oh, dude. Finals tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Spain versus Portugal. Gonna be a great game. Just earlier it was the semifinals between Germany and Portugal. Portugal ended up winning that game 2-1. Ronaldo had the game-winning goal. Kind of cool. He's still balling. The game of the week was you need to go watch the highlights after this, but Spain versus France. Arguably, in my opinion, the two best
I did
national
see some of
teams.
this.
And Spain got out to an early 2-0 lead. They looked so dumb. They were up 4-0.
Yeah, I was going to say
5-1. And then in the last 15 minutes, plus a little bit of extra time, France scored 3 goals, made the game 5-4. Had a chance to tie it in extra time. They didn't, but that was such an insane game.
Yeah, that was crazy.
9 goals, absolutely insane. So finals tomorrow, Spain versus Portugal. Fun fact: Portugal has not beat Spain 15 years in either a cup game or an international friendly. So it'll be kind of interesting to see. I personally got Spain. I think Spain's the best team in the world. But
is Ronaldo playing?
Ronaldo will be playing. Yeah, he
I know he's kind of on I know he's kind of on the cusp of this is kind of it.
Yeah, he's definitely getting towards close to retiring. But I mean they have a solid team.
Yeah.
So, if you're free tomorrow, I highly recommend watching that. That'll be a really good game. And I personally got Spain winning, but
I will go with Spain as well.
All right, that's fair.
But before we wrap up, Jonah, Game 2.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably release this tomorrow on Sunday, so it'll be Game 2 that night.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
I want to take Indy, but I think that the Thunder will take it, especially after Game 1. It'll be a great game. Thunder are 11-point favored in Game 2, which is it's a lot of points.
That's crazy.
I mean, they were a 9.5 favored in Game 1. They looked like they were going to cover that all game, and then we saw that collapse in the fourth. But I think it'll be a back and forth. I think the Pacers definitely covered the 11-point spread, but I think OKC probably takes Game 2, just especially with how Game 1 ended. But I think it could be back and forth and still go either way.
That's fair. If I've learned one thing, it's that the devil lives in Gary, Indiana. And
have you ever been to Gary, Indiana?
No.
It's the worst place ever, man.
It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me.
Driven through there a couple of times. Not a place you want to hang around.
I can imagine. I have gone against this Pacers team too much. I am all in.
I like it.
Pacers, Game 2.
No, I respect it. I want to take. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Pacers, but
for sure.
I obviously I want the Pacers to win, but I just feel like I don't know. We'll see. It'll be a good game. I don't think it'll be.
I think a lot more people are going to be tuning into Game 2.
Especially after Game 1.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think people are like, oh, this is a legit series now. All right. There it is. Episode
Got
3.
a little random player to send us away with.
Always.
I have one, but I don't know if it's random. You'll have to tell me. Josh Smith. No. I just was thinking, I was like, this guy, just if you think, no one talks about him anymore.
Well, yeah, nobody, okay.
Like, I know he was really good, but I just feel like,
that's
thinking back,
like,
I'm like,
yeah.
that's just kind of a random player.
No, it's for sure random, but it's like, I think it will get, like, that's a random player in, like, I think of Josh Smith in the same category as, like, an Antoine Jameson, where it's like, I could talk about those guys endlessly for how good they actually are, but nobody will listen to me.
That's fair.
I love Josh Smith. I love that poll. I know him too well. I love Josh Smith. I love a power forward. I think we've determined what my favorite position of basketball is. It's a power forward.
You love the power.
Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Dirk, Antoine, Chris Bosh. I love a 4.
You do, don't you?
Random player of the day, though.
I do have one. Can I tell you my other one, though?
Go ahead.
Patrick McCaw.
Good. Yeah. Exactly.
You know he's like a 3-time NBA champion.
I'm aware because he won 3 back-to-back.
Yeah.
He won back-to-back-to-back with Warriors, Raptors.
As a rookie
and
second, third year.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh, we have to get Patrick McCaw on our team now." It's like if we get him, we're gonna win a championship.
I forgot about him. What a guy.
Benno Udrich. Come on now. Shout out my boy Benno. We will see you all for next week for another episode. Jonah, leave the beautiful people with some wise words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom. Could just be another sports take, similar to last week, but Edmonton in 7.
There it is, everybody. We will see you all next week. Episode 4. Goodbye.